have an ego, where I used to have an ego. And I've talked about this before, but I don't need to have an ego because I'm so confident in what I do. And there's facts behind what I do. I don't need to prove anything to anybody anymore because I've proven things to myself. And once you accept things for yourself that you've proven to yourself because you're good to yourself, you're talking good to yourself, there's facts that can back up who you are. And if you can feel confident in who you are, you don't need that ego. And once you drop that ego, you're actually in more control of your life. And that fear that you've had goes away when you drop the ego. Ego ruins relationships, ruins friendships, and it can ruin your career.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that you kind of use for comfort sometimes, and it is for yourself, because who does the ego really help other than you, whether that's to get you through a certain situation or through a certain meeting or whatever is happening. I feel like that's what your ego is, because when you're truly confident in something, like, you exude it, and you don't have to talk about it. You are like that, and people will do that for you. Artists don't say I'm a good artist. People will say that. They don't say I'm an amazing writer. People will tell them they're an amazing writer and buy their pieces and their work and praise it. They don't have to go around praising themselves.
Right. And one of the ways that I've gotten, I feel like egos, if you want to get rid of your ego, if you're at that point in your life where you're like, you know what, I do have an ego, I want to get rid of it. It's something that you do have to face yourself and you have to talk to yourself about. But if you do have an ego, the steps to get rid of that, honestly, is you have to humble yourself. But sometimes life humbles you.
I was just going to say, there is usually a moment, more than one, that add up, and you find, you hear the things that you need to hear. It's not necessarily the thing you want to hear. And it will click later, and you kind of will let that simmer and think about it, and it makes a difference in how you are talking to people, how you're talking to yourself, and what your presence is like around other people.
Yeah, and people think if they don't have that ego that they're a weaker person, but you're actually stronger. It gives you power without an ego. Because your true confidence can come out when you don't have an ego, because you don't have to act like that, and you don't have to be like that. And it's good for TV. It's good for, being that character. But when you are by yourself, that's when, your ego is, doesn't do anything for you,
And it can be such a fine line to your ego, because you do want to come off confident in certain rooms and in certain meetings, and you want to say the things that matter to you and that are important. So you want to be outspoken. Nobody hears the person who doesn't speak, but at the same time, it's making sure the things you do say are weighted versus just talking to talk, being able to make that point without going on and on and on just for the sake of it.
Right.
It's just, it is a fine line in certain situations where you want to, show off and be amazing.
Right. So we have been on this fitness journey for a long time.
But just recently, it's gotten real crazy.
Intense. So if you want to challenge yourself and you really want to talk to yourself, putting yourself through the hardest situations yourself through fitness, it's super important to be healthy. It's super important to have your health. We're only here for a short period of time on the earth, and as you get older, you start to see people get sick around you, and you start to see people die around you, and you start to see,
the other side of life.
The other side of life, and it becomes more real, and you really do realize that, we are on borrowed time here. So being fit and being fitness, that's not even a sentence, but
I like it.
I'm going to make it a sentence. So, being fit is something that's really, really important. And what I find is, as I started to get fit and in speaking about it, everybody in my family starts, really stepping it up and getting into it as well. So it's really important that sometimes you don't even know you're the lead in your family. You don't know how many eyes are on you and how important it is to be that role model in your life. And I feel like since I've been on this journey, my whole family's taken it with me, and we're just getting along better. And, it's just a great thing. Everybody's, getting healthier together, and it's so important for your inner circle to be like that.
It's a great hobby. It's a great hobby that everyone, you are working towards something and your family wants to be involved in it, and it makes it so fun because not only is it a healthy habit, it's something that like everyone can be a part of and do at their own level, speed, modification. So it makes it that much better because it's just so fun just because it gets so wild.
How you are today is the choices that you made in the last 5 years. How you will be in 5 years are the choices that you're making today, right? So we are who and what choices we made in the last 5 years. That's what we are today. So the fact that you don't want to start working out, the fact that you don't want to start your business, and it's not even that you don't want to, it's that you're making excuses not to. The fact that you don't want to get off the couch, the excuse of it's raining or it's cold or I don't want to, it's too early, I have work, I'm too tired, I have school, I have too many things. Those choices and those excuses that you tell yourself in 5 years, that's who you're going to be, but you're going to be a worse version of yourself because you aren't making those decisions to get yourself on the right path. Anything that you want to do, that's great. The way to get into anything, you have to have a gateway into it. For me, it was running. I started running. And a lot of people are not going to say it was running. Maybe it's, going to the gym and cycling, or maybe it's taking classes. Maybe it's the row machine. Maybe it's lifting weights. Maybe it's just doing chest. I love doing chest. Go to the gym and just do chest. Go to the gym and just do what you love. You will go to the gym and you will do other things once you start and you get disciplined at it. You're not going to do chest every single day, but you have to make yourself consistent with going to the gym. And if that is going to be chest day, or if that's going to be the treadmill, then that is going to be what gets you to the gym to help you on your fitness journey. The gateway can be anything just to get you there. Soon as you're there and then you work out and you leave, you're going to feel amazing. And, when you're starting something up, don't take days off. You aren't too tired to keep going. You don't need a day off. Work out 7 days a week. Keep going. If you're in pain, go. You have to become disciplined at it, and you have to go every single day. And then once it's a habit in your life, that's when you can plan your days off, and it could be a normal lifestyle and a normal part of your life. But this is for somebody who is not going to the gym right now and needs to go to the gym. This is for the person who literally tells people they work out and they're not working out. Because there's so many of us that tell people that we're working out. I have talked to I've been in so many awkward conversations in the last 3 months because I know what working out is. I know what getting up every single day and going to the gym is and working out. And I have literally had conversations with people who are telling me they're going to the gym. And I just know that they don't. And that's an awkward conversation to have, because I talk to people that go to the gym. And I talk to myself, and I'm one of those people. So I know that you're out there. I know that you're listening to this, and you're thinking, I got to get to the gym. How do I start? How do I do it? It's not listening to me. It's getting up, and it's going to the gym to do something. Jump rope. I don't care what it is. Lift just the bar. Find a friend. Don't find a friend. Put headphones on. Favorite song.
Just the bar is heavy, so.
Right.
And also remember that, nobody wakes up every day and is like, yes, I want to go to the gym today, or yes, I can't wait to go in and start this project, or I can't wait to get going. Like, nobody feels like that every single day. You kind of have to know that you're going to wake up tired, you're going to be groggy, you're going to have a rough night sleeping the night before, you're going to have all kinds of things that happen in your life that are going to tell you shouldn't do you shouldn't do anything, whatever that thing is. And it's knowing that that's going to happen, but you have to push through that and not care. Give it that minute or two when you wake up initially and you want to stay in your bed because it's so warm and it's raining out, but it doesn't matter that you just felt it, okay, but it still means you get going. It still means you do it anyways. I wake up all the time and I'm like, I'm going to stay in my bed, but then I get up and I go do everything that it is that I need to do because I have to get it done. I don't just let that go. I don't just let how I feel in the first couple minutes in the morning dictate my entire day. And the feeling that I get after I do accomplish something is way more amazing and way more impressive. It makes me feel so good that it's worth it, and I can easily get over talking shit to myself.
Right. And this translates to every part of your life. We can all sit there and make a list, me especially, of a list of things that I absolutely do not want to define me. There is only a small percentage of people who know these things about me that I don't talk about, because they do not define me, and I will not let them define me. And if people really knew, if they really knew and they see the things that I'm doing, I could come up with all the excuses in the world. I can tell you so many things that you would be like, wow, it would be a different perspective for you. But I'm not going to be defined by what doctors tell me. I'm not going to be defined by certain things. So if I can do it, you can do it. I am somebody who has to overcome a lot. And I do, because I have the right mindset, because I make my life about what I want it to be about. I'm going to define my life. You got to stop making excuses. You got to stop finding certain things in your life that you have these excuses for your life of why you're not doing something, no matter what it is. I talk to a lot of people who just, every sentence, every word is an excuse. And your life is like that. Your life is an excuse. Everything, by the time you're 50 years old, 60 years old, you're going to regret a lot of those things, because as you get older, you wish you would have done different things. It's called regret. And you got to do the things now. Starting today doesn't mean you're going to be successful today. It just means that you have to start. When you look in your mirror, you're not going to see results today. You're not going to see results in a month. You're not going to see results in 3 months. When you look at your bank account, when you start a business, it's not going to happen overnight. You might have to work 10 years at something to get your reputation right in business, or figure that one thing out. You might work on something for 3 years, and then all of a sudden you wake up and it's finished with a snap of a finger. And you said, wow, 3 years just for that. You just never know when it's going to happen. We don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. Do you really want your legacy to be excuses? We live like we're going to live forever. We're not going to live forever. We got to stop the excuses. Anyone can do anything. When you walk down a grocery aisle and all of that food is everywhere, who came up with that? People. When you look at the iPhone in your hand, when you're on your computer, when you're driving a car, when you're in a plane, those are people who created these things. Just like me and you. It's you that's stopping you. It's you that's giving up. Doesn't matter what age you are. Doesn't matter what's wrong with you. It doesn't matter. We all have it inside of us. You just have to get over yourself, and you have to start. Start today, no matter what that is.
Right. And the thing is, when you have an excuse, it's just something that's so internal that there aren't many people that can make you not get over that. You are so in control of that and how you are thinking, and allowing that excuse to be so prominent and be such a priority in your mind. You're making an excuse your top priority instead of moving that. It's still there. You're still going to have the stupid excuses in your mind, but you move it down that priority list and know that it's not as important. And once you do overcome something, nothing feels as good as that. Nothing feels as good as being accomplished. Nothing feels as good as hitting that goal, no matter how small or no matter how large, because to get there, you have to do so A, B, and C. And that journey is everything. But once you get there, you've done it, and that excuse that was in your mind the whole time was for nothing. It was just something, it was a wall that you put up for yourself, because sometimes you don't even say your excuses out loud. They're just back there. digging at you.
You know, if you want to start your fitness journey, you want to start a business, or you want to start that book that you've always been wanting to write, or you want to start that website, or whatever you want to do, find someone close to you, your mom, your dad, your husband, your wife, and every single day tell them, because they're close to you, tell them to ask you if you started, and they have to make you give an answer to them. Just watch what happens. You're going to start, either you're going to give excuses, because that's all that could come out of your mouth, or you're going to say, I started it. Right? There's only two ways you can go. So find someone that's really close to you that will call you, and they will ask you every single day, did you start your fitness journey? Did you start that book? Did you start that website? Did you start that business?
Did you start saving your money?
What will your answer be? Have someone in your family hold you accountable if you can't be accountable for yourself. These are the steps that you can take to change your life. After a while, that person doesn't need to call you anymore. After a while, you might be calling them and asking them if they started their fitness journey. Did they start their business? Sometimes you have to force the people you love around you to be better, because it's very hard, you know? Sometimes you have to be forced. Sometimes you have to plan to be forced, because you know yourself. You know you're a procrastinator. You know you have these flaws. Once you start looking inside of yourself, and you really find out who you are, and you start defining who you are, you could start tricking yourself. You could start beating yourself. You could start killing that version of yourself so you could become better and level up. You know, last week DJ said, you know, the hustle is real. You know, after we ended that show and we left, and you know, the next day, you know, DJ texted me and he was just so happy and so proud of us, and you know, and I was proud of him, and it was a great moment, you know. But he said the hustle is real. You know, you guys, he's like, I love the consistency that you guys have, you know, and I don't just do this for the show. I don't just do this for the hustle hour to post it on a podcast. Like, we literally live the life that we preach about, and this show helps us stay on course. This show is the parent that I'm calling every day to ask me what I've done. This show is to keep me on track. But what I love is the people coming up to me and saying that I started this, I did this, I'm being more consistent, I'm doing that. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for me, it just provides, like, the show is so much more than just what we talk about. I feel so focused. I feel like I'm prioritizing a lot of different things about just getting things off of my mind, talking out loud, being filmed, putting things up on social. There are just so many hurdles and obstacles, like, that are so small but are so big to me that I'm moving forward and getting over. And it's kind of like I am preparing myself for something, and it feels good to be able to just feel like I'm just conquering and checking things off of my list.
Yeah, and you do a great job. You know, like when I first met Diane, you know, she wouldn't even want to be me to take a picture of her. You know, like she would say no, like I would have to be in it with her to take a picture. And she wouldn't let me take a picture. And I'm somebody who,
Forced.
you know,
Forced. You didn't care.
I think she's beautiful, you know, so I always wanted a million pictures of her. So I would just take a million pictures of her, and that's how it all started, you know. And then, you know, little by little through over the years, we have, you know, it was just something Diane just didn't want to do. And it was something that she hated and didn't like.
You know what it is? You can get so stuck in your mind, and I'm such an overthinker, and I will overthink every little thing I say, every mannerism. Like, I will just really go in depth in my mind. So it's kind of like I have to, like, let that go and stop digging so deep, and just kind of move along and let things roll. And if something doesn't go exactly the way I planned or anticipated, it's okay. It's okay. You know, I can just keep on moving, and tomorrow is a new day, and just live my life instead of getting so hung up on the really small things that don't really matter, but that I allow to matter to myself. So it was a lot of getting over myself and little things that I would allow to become big things that in the scheme of things didn't even matter. But I had to do that for myself. And once I gave myself that grace, it just became so different, and it felt like a switch, but it really wasn't a switch. It was years of just trying to get over myself and being so over analytical of everything I could do.
Right. And I remember I came on a show here at Gynesis Radio with my MMA news, and I sat over here and I barely spoke on it, but from that moment I fell in love with it, and I was like, I ran home and I was like, Diane, we got to have our own show, and
I was so nervous. I was like, our own show.
so it took a little bit to hype it up and hype Diane up to do it. But then once, and I was the one that was like, come on, we'll be great. Blah, 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 and I was all about it. And then I remember the first show, and I would love to find footage of it. But I remember Terry was like 3, 2, 1 live. And we went live, our first ever Hustle Hour show. And I literally went blank, got super, super scared. And I froze for like 30 seconds and I didn't say anything. And it was, who knew? I didn't know it was a fear of mine to host a show, but it was a big fear of mine. And we ended up doing the first show. We ended up loving it. And look at us now. And it made us more comfortable on TV to do, be in front of the camera. And it
talk to people in general, give meetings, just so much public speaking. And it just was never my strength. And it just has easily become my strength. So it's crazy.
And sometimes maybe, another good exercise for you is to write down what you are fearful. And I'm not talking like spiders. I'm not talking about things like that. I'm just talking about like, maybe it is going to the bar, talking to that, girl or that guy, or maybe there is a fear of, speaking or being on camera, and you own a business and you don't want that, just write it down, figure it out about yourself of what is fearful. And then you can literally have a plan and write a plan of getting over that, because what we're fearful of most of the time is why we aren't at that next level in our life, in our business, in our fitness journey, because we're not doing the thing that we're afraid of. And sometimes we don't realize it. For us, media is super important. The internet is super important. So for us, like we have to do this stuff. We love doing this stuff though. So at first, you're fearful of it, and then you end up loving it. It's just,
you're so uncomfortable until you're not. Like everyone is always talking about those moments, but you have to be uncomfortable before you are comfortable. And it is what it is. You have to do it so many times the way you want to do it, and not like anybody else, which is also something that happens in your mind. You're imagining how you want things to go, and it may be because of the way you've seen someone else do it. And of course, it's not going your way because you have to do it the way you do it. You're not going to do it like somebody else. You're not going to speak like someone else. You're not going to look like someone. You're going to do it just like you, and you have to be good with that. And people are going to love that, because everyone loves an individual. Everyone loves someone who's different, who stands out. Nobody wants someone who's cookie cutter and is doing it exactly like so-and-so. They want it how you do it. So it's kind of just, you have to realize that along the way. And that's when you do become comfortable, because you start feeling like yourself.
Yeah. So we put walls up in our mind of certain things because we imagine that they're going to be different, where we imagine them worse than they really are. It's just one of those things. With fear, fear is just, it's so fake. Fear is just, it's not real. It's an imaginary thing in our mind that we put walls up and we put a definition to, and we play it in our mind like it's going to go, but really it's nothing like that.
Because you feel like, oh, that's where I'm going to stop, because I do fear that. That makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to. But if you would just push a little bit harder, a little more forward, you would see that it just doesn't end there. That's just one emotion. That's just one feeling. That's just one little obstacle to keep going.
Right. It's crazy, the journeys that we I feel like, a lot of the times we have to figure out this stuff and pay attention more in our life, about our life, what's actually happening around us. And we have to, focus on it to build ourselves up. A lot of the times people are just walking around like they're a robot, like they're just, not with it, don't understand it, self-medicating with alcohol and drugs, and like they're just waiting for the next party. They're always waiting for the next, fun thing, or that's all they look forward to, and they're living this life of just of not self-aware of what's going on around them, and not self-aware of the decisions that they're making, and then they wonder why their lives are the way that they are, but it's from the decisions that they're making in their lives.
Right. It's this instant like satisfaction. It's like that instant happiness. You want to do something that you're whatever. All of that stuff is you do, and it's just so short term. You can't continue living a lifestyle like that, but also you have to think about all the things you want to do for your future and the things that you're going to have to start now in order to feel good, to be healthy, to move forward, to be the person you want to be. That's not going to be from having those little short-term, happinesses. It's all about really planting the seed.
Right. It's all about planting the seed. And understanding that things take time, and having that patience, and you might not see results today, but in a year from now, when you look at yourself and you look at your life, you're going to see the results. You're going to see, and if you plant a seed, it doesn't just start growing right away. It takes time. The roots have to grow.
And sometimes it doesn't, and it doesn't go according to plan, and you have to repot it, and you have to get new. So you have to do all kinds of crazy things you wouldn't even know. And it's so funny when you think about how people talk about that metaphor, but like, it's just the way life is. Like, it doesn't go your way often. All of a sudden you have this beautiful plant, and then it just dies, and you don't even know why, and it's just over, and you have to start over or do something else. And you just have to know that you have to be willing to accept that and try again.
Right. And there's two ways to have pride in your life. You could be prideful, and sometimes that goes along with egotistical, right? When you're too prideful, you can't let your pride go down, and you can't have, say you're sorry and stuff like that. But then there's also like having pride in your work ethic, or having pride in everything that you do, having pride for yourself. When you do something and you say you're going to do it, do it. Don't just have words come out. Don't have that, a lot of us, since we're living that when's that next high? When's that next party? When are we going out next? When are we doing this? They also do that to make people happy in that moment, and they're using words to make them happy. So imagine having a conversation with somebody, and you're using words, and it's a great conversation, and then imagine not following through with that great conversation. That was a wasted conversation now. That was a wasted conversation because you didn't stick to what you said you were going to do. And that's just, I've come in a lot of contact with people who are saying one thing, but they do the exact opposite. And I posted a thing on one of our pages today, and it said, show me.
Mm-hmm.
Show me. Don't talk about it. Show me.
Be about it.
Be about it. There's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing when you're actually, a doer than a talker. There's a lot of talkers out there, and, I don't want them around me. I'm not the kind of person, I'm at a different point in my life that I do not want talkers around me. I have been I can see a talker from a mile away too. And, I am just sick and tired of people just talking the talk, man.
Right. There's tons of good ideas, and there's so many different amazing things that everyone could be doing. But without the execution, it's just nothing. It's just that. It's just an idea.
I'm the kind of person that if I say something, it's done. It's done. I'm going to do it. That's it. And that's on my big goals, my small goals, my short-term goals. That's on my life goals. I'm going to do it 100%. I'm somebody who and I feel like you're the kind of person, you don't even talk about it at all. You just do it, and then you talk about it.
Yeah.
There's those people, and that's who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. I like to make my moves on my own time and in my own way, because I don't really like to be questioned or asked about my motives or what I'm doing. So sometimes for a lot of people who are around me, it's like, surprise. And they're like, how come you never told me that? And it's just how I am. I just don't really discuss certain things that happen in my life. And I like to talk about things when they're done. Even if we go away for a short vacation, I really won't post anything until I get back. And it'll be like I'm away.
It's true. It's true. So just know this, that when you start loving yourself for real and you start understanding this, you have better relationships with everybody. When you love yourself, you can love everybody. You know, you can love anybody. Love is real when you love yourself. Love is really real when you love yourself. You know, so find out what that means for you. Make a plan, figure it out, and we got to get everybody on this journey of self-love.
Right. Nobody's better than you. And you don't want to surround yourself with people who also don't love you, enjoy your company, and want to be around you. You know, why would you want to be around people who don't want to be around you? You just have to think about that. I wouldn't, you know, I definitely don't. And
Correct.
don't include those people in my life. And that's fine, you know?
You know, we have a short period of time on this life, so make those changes now. Call that person you love and tell them to ask you what you want them to ask you every single day. Make sure you answer the phone. Don't ignore them. And make sure you give them an answer. You're either going to start it or you're going to give them an excuse. We have to stop the excuses. Get your mind right. Start listening to the right videos. Get off your phone. Write a plan. Get a journal. And start your life now. It starts now. We don't know how long we are on this earth. Anything can happen at any moment in time. Leave your legacy. What will people say about you? The person who made excuses, or the person that got things done? The person that changed their life? The person that made excuses, or the person that changed their life? What will your legacy be? Who are you? Write down in your journal, who am I? Also, when you were saying I am, when you say I am, you are allowing the universe to put you in that box. So I am a winner. I can do anything. I am great. Those are the things that you should be saying to yourself every single day. You know, self-love is real. And this is the Hustle Hour. I'm Mike.
I'm Dan.
And this has been a great hour with Terry and Dee. Thank you guys so much. And that was Frank Ocean, Pink and White. Have a great night.